Hello, everyone. It's Chris, and this article made me so mad that I had to make a video on it. Take-Two CEO says he expects the game industry to be in commercial streaming mode within 3 years, which is great news if you hate owning stuff. And you know what I have to say to that? I will never stream using your BS hardware. I will always own my equipment. I'm going to own more equipment and I will have everything physically in my hand within my reach. And this Take-Two out of reach CEO can go F himself. Rockstar parent company believe that cloud gaming will grow its consumer base even as hardware prices rises. You know what's going to happen? This is what I predict. How about we make games or play games that take lower end hardware, and how about game developers and studios optimize their game so we can run it on all types of hardware? So even like an older machine that we own now can be used for all types of games. During Take-Two's latest earning calls, CEO head said the current computing hardware crisis, getting RAM so expensive, GPUs, CPUs, all these pieces that make computer hardware is becoming so expensive, is skyrocketing the cost of both consoles and PC and all the components. What this CEO is saying, Take-Two CEO, says he doesn't see inaccessible gaming hardware being a problem. He's like, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. There's no problem here. Hardware is getting more expensive. There is no problem here. Because I, my good sir, have a solution. And the solution is that you will own nothing and be happy. What do you think about that? You will own nothing and be happy. So, the inherent problems with this streaming hardware movement that these corporations want is that they want to control you. Because when you have autonomy over your hardware, you have so much more power. If I need to upgrade my SSD, I can do that. If I need to upgrade my RAM, I can do that. If there's a component that if there's a problem, I can go in. If my fans break down, I can go in and I can fix it. When you are relying on streaming, they control it. They can choose what kind of GPU they want to assign to you. They can choose everything they want. Also, the other thing too would be, do you really think it's going to be cheap? Do you really think it's going to be cheap? The whole idea, they're going to follow probably a similar business model than like Uber or something. Maybe initially it'll be cheap and it'll be cheaper. They want to get like a consumer base hooked on their product, and then they start increasing the cost when there's literally no options there. This is exactly what Uber's done. It's exactly what other companies have done. Even some like AI companies at this point, they're releasing it out for free, and then they realize they can't make any money. So then they're just like, "Oh crap, we got to figure out how do we make money? We're not making any money." So they throw ads and everything, and they try to monetize every little thing. They think streaming games is the near future. Now, a lot of inherent problems with this streaming game is that you need an internet connection. I want to be able to use like my laptop remotely. I want to be in the middle of nowhere and be able to work if I want to. I want to be on an airplane. I don't want to be reliant on a constant internet connection and a good internet connection, because if your interconnection isn't good, if you really think that streaming hardware is going to run smoothly if your internet connection isn't amazing. Now, I do know that there's like over the years there's more coverage and stuff like that, but like if you're out and about, are you going to use your data to like connect to the internet? Are you going to be relying on like a cafe's website to stream hardware? Like, come on, this type of stuff drives me insane. It's so frustrating because I also believe I'm a huge, like, you guys probably know this. I mean, I guess maybe on my other channel where I do synth stuff. See, that's this thing here. I have a channel where I do a bunch of synth stuff, and on that channel, I constantly talk about the right to repair, open source, and all that jazz. So I hope you guys know I'm a huge proponent of that. I love the idea of being able to have control over things that you own, and I hate when stuff goes into a landfill. So with the right to repair it, owning your own hardware, you have so much more power. as a consumer. If you believe in streaming, and clear that we really do, and happy to put a time on it, I think it will be in commercial streaming mode within 3 years. We need to resist this as much as possible. Even when hardware prices are going up, I still believe that if we can either buy lower end hardware, older hardware, and just kind of make it work for the modern day, or save up more money and buy the hardware that we want, I think it's going to be better than streaming. Because with streaming services, let's look at Netflix and all that stuff. If you have a physical copy of something, you don't have to ask permission to watch it. I don't have to get a DVD of Full Metal Jacket. I don't have to be like, "Hey, Full Metal Jacket, can I have permission to watch you? Are you allowing me?" Oh, and then it's going to give you, "Hey, do you want to watch this with ads or without ads? You're going to have to pay different amount." Like, none of that happens with physical media. But I also feel the same with physical hardware. When you're at the mercy of a streaming service when it comes to physical hardware, they can change the rules on you whenever they want. They can say, "We're doubling the price this month," and there's nothing you can do about it. You have a problem with it? Like, this Out of Touch CEO says that the broader adoption of cloud gaming could effectively increase Take-Two's potential user base tenfold. See, they don't even care about, like, these are all talking points for shareholders. They do not care about the consumer whatsoever. And then the next statement is that wouldn't necessarily produce tenfold increase in revenue, but to say the company's most avid customers are the ones who already have traditional gaming hardware. Exactly. That's exactly it. The people who have traditional gaming hardware will never use this cloud gaming service. I will never use this cloud gaming service. I would rather not game. If I had the choice between cloud gaming and not gaming, I just won't game. Or I'll literally game on whatever I have. I'll game on an N64 hardware before I use cloud gaming services. Use case. Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here. The one only use case I can think about cloud, not even gaming, but just cloud using someone else's hardware. If you're running simulations and you need a lot of power, maybe there's some use cases there, but even then, if you're running simulations, I think you should just buy your own equipment and run them locally, in my opinion. But if that's out of touch, or like if you can't afford that, maybe doing that remotely. But for gaming, no way. Gaming has such a broad scope. You can game on your cell phone if you want to. And then they say in this article, but for streaming to become more common in gaming standards, it'll need to overcome profound and intensified anxiety about game and media ownership. Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that in the article. I mean, the person who writes this article clearly isn't pro cloud gaming. You will own nothing and be happy. From the Stop Killing Games effort to the outcry provoked by Sony's announcement of ending disc production, there's an unjustifiable unease among consumers being left with no way to access games outside of streaming and subscription services that can be shuttered as soon as they stop generating revenue figures. So the thing is too, I do also understand, particularly about the statement about Sony stop making disc productions. I do understand that, like, the physical disc it's an out of date piece of technology. I understand that, like, no computers anymore have drives built in for DVDs. I completely understand that. However, there should be methods in place that can digitally archive, digitally save, and you can digitally forever own your purchases without any question. No ifs, ands, or buts. I understand that, like, production of every game moving forward till the end of time on Sony's lineup. I know it's unrealistic, but there should be things in place that we can digitally access the media that we've purchased at any point without any hesitation, with some online support. So when I say some online support, I mean, I understand it's hard to keep games online forever and supported forever, but just some support. or just release it to the fan base and say, "Hey, if you guys want to pick up the mantle, here's how to set up a server. Boom, go for it." Something like that. Even Kojima's feelings about it, sharing his fears that we will not be able to freely access movies, books, and music that we have loved. Thank you, Kojima. You are, saying what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? All right. Oh my gosh. And the Ubisoft director face said in 2024 that gamers will have to be comfortable with not owning your games. Comfortable with not owning your games. That's the exact quote. If the hardware crisis continues to worsen, we might not have a choice. Well, I think we should make a choice. We should keep the hardware that we have in the best condition possible for longevity purposes. I have no plans to upgrade any of my computers at this moment. I think the hardware that I have right now is going to have to be good enough because there's no way I'm going to be spending an arm and a leg for new hardware. Anyways, guys, I was so enraged by this article, I had to make this video. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you keep your physical hardware close to heart, because these companies want to take it away, because they get the sick pleasure of being able to control everything in your life, and you will own nothing and be happy is their motto. And I will never adhere to that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.